Hey, welcome to the Not My Scene podcast, the podcast where we explore scenes, communities, subcultures, and corners of the internet and tell you what we find. I'm Yarden.
I'm Kaya. Welcome to the Not My Scene podcast, the podcast where we are eschewing the internet and phones and all devices unless you want to follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Not My Scene Pod. That's the only way you should really be using these
Or
devices.
emailing
though.
us at
You can email us at
notmyscenepod@gmail.com.
notmyscenepod@gmail.com.
Otherwise, technology is canceled.
We're done with it. It's not our scene. I'm excited for today's episode. It is coming at a very prescient time for me. Is that the right way to use that word? Like it's
I think so.
prescient?
I'd be scared to use it myself, but I think you used it right.
Do I look scared? Can you hear my voice? The fear? Yeah, I think it might be the first time I've ever said it out loud. I love saying things for the first time out loud ever when I'm being recorded. Dan, what is your scene this week?
Okay. This is vulnerable. My scene has been when I've had a couple drinks, spending a lot of time using the bleached eyebrows filter on TikTok and thinking I look really good in it.
Wait, I think you would look really good.
Really?
Yeah, I like it. Honestly, this is maybe a weird thing to say, but I don't think that your beauty relies on your eyebrows at all. Like you would stand alone without them. I've never been like, God, she needs those brows. Like I think it would really look good. And you have such stunning eyes. It would be like ripping the frame off the Mona Lisa in a good way.
Thank you. Yeah.
You should do it.
Should I? I might. So this is just me soft launching, bleaching my eyebrows, I guess.
Yeah, you should do it.
It's very like reversible. Like I feel like it would be easy to dye them back.
I feel like I've never seen anyone do it and look worse. Which is funny.
Gonna look worse sometimes. Like it's definitely not looks maxing. But
I don't know. I feel like people look really cool with it.
It's also like scary because people using this filter are like, don't trust it. It looks so much worse like than the filter makes you look. Like they might be doing something else to you.
Yeah, that's probably true. Like, I feel like that's the case with other things. Early days, like when you could try different haircuts and hair colors on filters, you'd be like, this looks so good. But then you realize that also the filter was giving you bold glamour eyes, like with the blonde hair, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And my other fear is like that I wouldn't be able to get them bleached enough and they would be like yellow.
I mean, I also think that like shitty bleach yellow hair is in, like with the Alyssa Liu of it all. We're kind of leaning into like brassy colors.
And sometimes when I do it, I'm like, I literally look like Lady Gaga. Like, this is awesome, especially when I'm like a little drunk. And then sometimes I'm like, I look bald.
Yeah, but that's not bad.
No.
How interesting that not having eyebrows makes you look bald. Like, what do you mean?
A bald face.
Bald is like...
Bald is beautiful.
No, bald is beautiful. I like it. I feel like it's looks maxing, but in a alien way. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
It is beautiful. It's just different.
I feel like I was also influenced going to the FK Twigs show because she's so alien.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I think you should do it.
Thank you. We'll see if I do it. Okay, well, that's pretty much all there is to say about that. What?
That's that. What's my scene?
Yeah, what's your scene?
Okay, this is really related to this week's episode, so I think it's just going to kind of blur into our discussion. But my scene this week is grayscale on my phone. And I will say that I think our conversation with August maybe has made me feel less like grayscale is my scene, but I have been doing it and I think it's very powerful. Have you ever done this on your phone?
No, I should. Yeah, I should.
Okay. independent of us doing this topic this week, I was just like, so I guess let's just get into it. I think this is going to bleed into August discussion.
Yeah.
But before we decided to do this, I was kind of feeling down in the dumps about my phone addiction, as one does. And my friend Carly, she had grayscale on her phone once and showed it to me. I had never heard of it before that, and I didn't do it when she showed me it, but it came to me in a moment of darkness last week or the week before. So you can do it, I think, on like any iPhone through your settings, like accessibility settings, and it's incredibly effective to me. I think the problem with it is I will turn my phone off of grayscale a lot. Like, I'm not leaving it on grayscale all the time. But the reason I'm not is because I genuinely find my phone like repulsive when it's on grayscale. Like, it's uncomfortable for me to
Wow.
look at. And it almost makes me feel blind in a crazy way where I'll be like, I'll receive an image and it's in grayscale and I look at it and I'm like, what am I looking at? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. There's something about it that I really don't want to text when it's on grayscale. I don't want to like look at Instagram. I think there's something very disgusting about a black and white phone. So I recommend.
Yeah, I guess it really shows how like just baby we are with the phone. Like it's just literally just like
Totally.
pretty
It's Coco
colors.
Melon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think we can talk more about this after the interview, but I do think it's probably like more self-punishing than just trying to switch, like August says, but
Mm. Like
like it's uncomfortable.
when are you switching back to color? Like when you want to watch a video or something?
Like when someone sends me an image, or if I want to send
Hmm.
someone an image,
Or take a
I feel like I have
photo.
to check
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, because if I'm sending a photo of myself, I can't tell if it's like hot unless I see it in color, you know?
Yeah, and you're always sending hot photos of yourself.
Yeah. And it would show if I started sending kind of like chopped photos of myself, people would be able to tell it was in grayscale. Yeah, I think it's effective. It just like makes me not want to be on my phone. And then it's such a relief when it's in color. And the interesting thing is, I was reading online about people who went like full grayscale for an extended period of time, and they said that it like hurt their eyes to go back to color afterwards. So it's
Whoa.
all a matter of perspective, baby. Just pick your side. Yeah,
Yeah.
grayscale has been my scene.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so our topic today, if you haven't already picked up or read the title, is the
Black and
anti.
white things. We're
We're
talking
talking.
Oreos. We're talking race dynamics in America. We're
We're talking
talking
Charlie Chaplin movies.
Charlie Chaplin movies, The Artist, the newspaper, cows,
Pandas.
pandas.
Yeah. No, we're talking the anti-tech community. And I feel like this is so big right now. Obviously, it's been a topic for like years how we're all addicted to our smartphones. But do you also feel like just in the last less than a year, even, it's everywhere of people like the brick and like people giving tips on how to be on your phone less?
Yeah, I think that I was wondering it definitely is on my mind more. And I wonder if it is also in part due to our age, because I feel like I'm starting to
Mm.
get like anxious about death and like my fleeting youth and how I'm spending my days, being how I'm spending my life or whatever. And like in the past, I used to think about that and be like, oh, I've been on my phone so much today. But like, I was 23. Like, I didn't care. I had a whole life ahead of me. Like, I can rot on my phone today. I have many days in the future to not do that. But I think there's like some confluence maybe with like us approaching or being 30 and also being like, whoa, do I want to keep being on my phone? Like, I think there's something
Mm.
about like fear of death that's making my phone addiction scarier to me right now.
Like at least not consciously, I haven't been thinking about it in that way. And I also, it is a big movement among younger people too.
I just feel like I'm like, I don't know, I'm like at a time in my life where I'm like, what am I doing? Am I like focused on my
Uh-huh.
career? Am I focused on making art? Am I
Yeah.
wanting to have a family? And then it's like, no, I'm not doing any of those things. I'm just on my phone. So like
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. For sure. I guess
Yeah.
I wanted to just talk a little bit about how this community, I even discovered it, was from a Substack essay by Katie Lowe that was written in September, all about how she switched from a smartphone to a dumb phone. And this essay kind of went viral. She really lays it out practically in terms of what she's needed to do and like how she made the transition and like how to transfer your contacts and like everything like that. And she is also still very much like on the internet. Like she has a computer job, so she's on a computer that has access to internet like at least 8 hours a day. But then she just doesn't have a smartphone. And she has an iPad too. So she uses the iPad every morning to
She
read the
doesn't use a
news.
smartphone when she leaves the house, but she has 4 iPads. She has the new laptop that's like smaller. That's like very
Yeah.
funny to me, but no judgment.
It's still so much more than we're doing.
Oh,
It's
totally. Like it's like, yeah, if you need an iPad, I have a phone that I look at 18 hours of the day, but if you have an iPad and then you only look at the iPad 1 hour a day, like rock on,
yeah, like she
sister.
says she's only using it in the morning to read the news.
Getting an iPad as a humiliation ritual so that you can you're too ashamed to look at this embarrassing device except for an hour a day when you're at home.
Exactly.
Like I should get like a phone case that says like MAGA on it, and then I would be like too ashamed to use it except when I'm at home or something.
For sure. Yeah, so that was her approach. And then she like had a line in her essay that was like, I haven't gone like full no computer like August Lamm, and linked to this person August's Substack, where I then went into a big rabbit hole on August and what she's doing with getting rid of tech, which was super fascinating. So we interviewed August and we want you all to hear it.
Yeah, a special analog delivery of some anti-tech wisdom from August delivered straight to the Apple Podcast app or Spotify app or however you listen to podcasts. Yeah, should we play the interview?
Yeah. Hey, August.
Hi.
Hey.
To start off, would you mind just like giving a quick intro of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm August Lamm. I started out as an artist, as a visual artist on social media, and I made a living through doing sponsorships and selling my work online and teaching online. And then eventually I really wanted to get off social media because it had become my whole world, my social life, my career, everything. And so I started switching to a dumb phone, and then I eventually got rid of my computer and got rid of my Instagram and had to transition my career into more kind of traditional avenues. So print media and like having an agent and writing books and stuff like that, which took a while. And so that experience of trying to disentangle from the internet as someone who pretty much grew up with these devices made me want to help other people to do that, and also to raise awareness that it's becoming more difficult and less possible to do that, especially in certain areas or certain professions or stations of life or whatever. So I write fiction and I draw and I play music, and that's mainly what I do. But then this activism has become a big part of my life. So I would describe myself as an anti-tech activist, and I do a lot of work just doing events and writing, and yeah, and I do a lot of mail campaigns, so writing to people and corresponding with people about these issues.
Yeah, I think it's so cool that you have been able to have this career still where you're like creating art and working for yourself, because so much of what I see of people that are artists or writers or have like more of a freelance creative path is there's so much of that, like you have to do self-promotion all the time and be like super online.
Yeah, but that's such a lie. It's just not true, and it's actually the opposite of true now, because if you think about every single person who's starting out as a visual artist and wants to do it professionally, being told that they have to start an Instagram account, that means you've got tens of millions of people starting Instagram accounts for their art. Like, that's not going to be effective at a certain point. So a very small minority of people are going to make it by doing that. And then everybody else is going to think, well, it's possible because that minority is doing it. And then nothing comes of it. But I still do a lot of self-promotion. You have to as a freelancer, because the work doesn't always come to you. But that just looks very different. It looks like going to events or reaching out to editors and asking for opportunities, or submitting my work to exhibitions in the case of painting, and talking to people and making contacts. But all of the work that I get now, all of the stories I publish, are from people I've met in real life and spoken to, or people who've come to my events and seen me there and liked my work. So none of it is from my online
Yeah.
posting or whatever.
Was there any one like trigger for you to decide you want to switch to a dumb phone, or did it just compound over years of being online?
Yeah, I realized that it wasn't the type of thing that you can do moderately. Like, you can't step away and spend less time online and just have a more balanced life. I thought that was possible. I sort of suspected that maybe it was just in my head that I had to be online all day posting to stay relevant. And maybe that was just something I told myself because I was addicted. Once I started withdrawing from social media, all my numbers went down. And when I did post something, nobody saw it. And people would ask me, my friends would text me and say, "Oh, are you still doing art?" And it's like, yeah, I posted something yesterday, but you're not seeing it because I'm not favored by the algorithm anymore. So I realized it's this trap that you have to be putting in this time every day. And if you stop, then it punishes you. And that really freaked me out, that I was like, there isn't a path of posting once a week, or posting your best work once a month. I mean, some people do that, I'm sure, and it works, but for whatever reason, it was like all the numbers went down and nobody could see my stuff, and I stopped making sales when I dialed it back. So then I just was freaked
Yeah.
out by what was demanded of me. I didn't have control over my career. I realized that my whole career was owned by Instagram.
Right.
Yeah. And you say that this was something that you realized couldn't be done in moderation. I'm really interested about like how you actually made the switch to the dumb phone and what that experience was like not doing it in moderation. Like how extremely did you separate yourself from tech and social media immediately? And what did that feel like in the aftermath?
Yeah, I've talked to hundreds of people since I started doing this work about their moderate approaches to watching from their smartphone or from social media. And it it's agonizing. I've never heard someone tell a positive story like, "Oh yeah, I've made some moderate changes and it feels really good and it's easy." It's just like, I tried doing this, but it didn't quite work, and then I changed it, and then that worked for a second, but then I couldn't do it anymore, and then I broke the rule, and then I went back, and then I tried this different app, and I tried this different device, and it kind of worked, and maybe it helped, but I felt really anxious, and like, none of it works. And so I realized just through doing it that once I got rid of my smartphone and I was just on the dumb phone, and when I left the house, I didn't have the option to check Instagram or to post to Instagram or anything. All the anxiety went away. It's not like I was out thinking, how is my post doing? I still had social media at that time. So I still kept Instagram for years after I got rid of my smartphone, but I wasn't posting or checking when I was out of the house. And that changed everything. It made it so even when I was home, I wouldn't remember to check, which blew my mind because I would check like every few minutes when I had a smartphone. And once I just broke that cycle and that impulse to check, then I stopped having it. And weeks would go by and I'd be like, "Oh, I should check Instagram," and then I'd forget. But it was never like that before. I was checking truly every few minutes for years. And so it's just getting rid of my smartphone. And that's why I harp on the smartphone so much, because everyone wants to talk about like big tech and social media and everything. And that's important. but it's just like if you get rid of the smartphone, you actually just break those addiction cycles.
I feel like I've seen in myself and others, like even when people are off social media or delete the apps from their phone or whatever, like there's still so many ways to get those instant hits of dopamine from your smartphone, like playing a game or doing whatever, like even checking your email constantly. So I can see
Yeah,
how
I
that
think it
makes
actually
sense.
worsens the addiction because then you have to think about it more. Like if you're just letting yourself check social media whenever you want, it's whatever that it's not taking up space in your brain whether you're allowed to check it or not. You just do it when you want. But if there's all these rules and you're still doing it, but you're feeling anxious about it and guilty about it, and you're having to decide whether you can do it or not, and I think it's just creating more stress for people. And then they start to think, well, it was better when I stopped. Like it was better before I started moderating it. But my argument is, and I've seen this with all the people that have switched, that all the stress of it and the difficulty of it goes away when you just get rid of the device.
Would you ever want to take it even further and like get rid of your dumb phone? Would that be possible, do you think?
Yes, I actively want to get rid of my dumb phone and switch to a landline. So that's something I'm thinking about and working toward. I think that is true activism because it really is going to make people realize that not everyone has a cell phone and that not everyone can text all day, because right now people can kind of forget that I even have a dumb phone. Like they're just texting me like I have a smartphone. They try to send me pictures. They try to send me links. They just forget. And I'm available all the time and my phone's just there. But if you switch to only calling and to only having your phone at home, that's like really making people uncomfortable and forcing them to consider like how we've evolved as a society. And like texting is so new. It's just such a new thing, but we've adjusted to it so quickly to the point where we're terrified to call people. Like all of us feel that. We hate the idea of like, oh, you have to start the call and you have to end the call and it's agonizing and you have to ask someone how they're doing when really you just wanted like a little bit of information on how to get to this venue or whatever. So like I think switching to a landline would force me and other people to be more human with the way we communicate.
I think you touched on this a little bit just now, but something that like that personally comes up for me when I think about trying to use a smartphone less or like switch to a dumb phone is kind of like social anxieties about losing contact with people that I communicate with like through texting. In your transition to a dumb phone, how did that impact your social relationships at all?
I get this all the time from people, and I was so concerned about it too. But the funny thing is that, first of all, I still maintain all my friendships and I text my friends all the time, and I regularly run out of my whatever 1,000 text plan like halfway through the month. I'm like running out of it. And it doesn't, if you spend time with me, it's not like I'm texting all day. It's just that at night before bed, it's like I'll ask my friends for updates on their relationships, and then we'll like text a bunch of updates back and forth. And I just blow through my allowance quickly. So I definitely text a lot and communicate in that way. And like I said, people just forget that I have a dumb phone in those moments, except I make a lot of typos, but that's fine. But in terms of friendships, like real life friendships, the funny thing is I made so many more friends after I got rid of my smartphone because I just had to go out in the world and talk to people and not rely on seeing event flyers on social media. I just go out to places and I talk to people, and I've made a lot of friends through that. And then mostly people, I don't know how they remember to do this, but they'll just text me like, oh, there's this reading this week. Do you want to go together? Or I have this concert coming up, like you should come. And they'll text me the details for it. So another thing you can do is just text your friends and say, hey, what's going on this week? Are there any cool events coming up? And
Yeah.
that way, then people might not remember to send it to you, but they'll think of it in that moment. I found that after getting rid of my smartphone and just changing my approach to socializing a bit, I have more friends than I ever had before. I have more things to do. I'm busier. And yeah, I'm just having a better time and I'm feeling less lonely than I did. Like I also met my boyfriend after getting off dating apps and just going out and talking to people, meeting people in real life. So I feel like my life has filled out in a way that when I was trying to meet people online and maintain relationships online, it felt like that was taking up so much of my energy. And that also felt like the only way for me to meet people. So I was putting all of my efforts into that and then not realizing that I could just leave the house and everyone was all around me.
Yeah, and I imagine also you've probably met people through the anti-tech activism community. Can you talk a little bit about what that community is like?
Yeah, it's a really interesting community. I have met people through it, but the people are so much younger. Like I'm 30, and the people who are doing this activism are really like they're in college. They're in college, early 20s, and there are a few people around my age, and they're cool, and we'll talk. And I like everyone in the movement, and we do have monthly meetings of everyone who's an organizer, and we talk about our different plans and projects, and we help each other out. So that's been great, but I wouldn't say that they've become like close friends and confidants just because of the generational gap there. And also, as with the younger people throughout history, their protest forms are more, like on the ground, kind of grassroots, making signs, being out there, like public mischief, vandalism. And I'm more like, I just want to sit in my little office and type things and express my thoughts and have quiet conversations. I'm not really into that megaphone kind of activism. So just very different culturally, but they're doing great work that has gotten a lot of attention just because they're at it. Like they're dogged. They go out and they talk to people. They go up to people on the street. It's just like I could never imagine doing that. Just walking up to people and saying, "Hey, how do you feel about your phone? We're running this event. You should come out." And people come out. They get so many people to come to those events. So the funny thing is, though, after years of doing this, I can't name a single friend of mine that has switched to a dumb phone, like a long-standing friend of mine. I don't even know if my boyfriend has a dumb phone, but he's always been kind of anti-tech. So I don't really count that as a convert because he has one in the past. I don't think I've successfully converted any of my friends, and I don't think I've met people just in the wild that happen to have dumb phones. I just know people who are in this movement that don't have smartphones. But yeah, generally it's me just not talking about it and trying not to come across as judgmental to my friends that are very online, very on social media, like very into their smartphones.
How long have you had a dumb phone for? When did the switch happen?
In 2023, so I guess I'm coming up, no, 2022, coming up on
Wow.
4 years now. Yeah. Yeah. So actually now I'm looking back and I'm like, I think I was relatively early to this current movement. I guess there were a few people, but it wasn't a trend then. And it was very lonely and isolating. And I felt people weren't ready for it in the sense that I would say that I had a dumb phone and that I'd gotten stressed out by social media and by my smartphone. And people thought that was strange and they couldn't quite understand it. But now people are like, I completely get it. That makes so much sense. I'm jealous. I wish I could do that. I've heard about this. I'm working towards it. And so I feel like there's a lot more understanding and more respect for it than there was when I started.
I do feel like the year is relevant to like 2022. Like just thinking back to when there was lockdown with the pandemic, I was like so reliant on social media and digital communication in a way where I feel like after the pandemic, my addiction to social media was like so intense because I was like so reliant on it when I was at home all the time. So I can see now like wanting to get off social media, but maybe right after it, that would have felt harder. But wow, congratulations. You have a bachelor's degree in dumb phone, 4 years. That is amazing.
That's really funny. Yeah, the pandemic thing. I'm not gonna name anybody, but I do know someone who's like the pandemic was a conspiracy to get people fully integrated with tech and like fully addicted and to destroy the last bastions of community in the world.
Definitely felt like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now the people who are doing most of the activism are people who were in high school during COVID, so they're really pissed off about screens.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Do you ever use a friend's smartphone just for something quick? And I feel like that would feel super weird.
I will sometimes. I mean, it's only really because I don't want to inconvenience them by doing it my way. Like my way would be, okay, we're gonna go out to like this place and try to find a map, or like stop in at a library, or go to this bookstore and like they have maps of New York in the bookstore and we can look it up, or like ask somebody. And if I can tell that the person I'm with is a little uncomfortable with that kind of stuff, I don't want to make a big fuss. So like, sure, they can look up the thing on their smartphone. But the funny thing happened yesterday because I've been waiting for this moment. I think it finally came, which is that my friend looked up the bank for me to take out money, and handed me her smartphone to show me the map. And I like couldn't figure out how to use the new map. I was like, wait, how do I exit this and go back to the directions? And it was the first time I felt like that, because I feel like this stuff becomes so intuitive and we're kind of native to this. And it made me really excited. It made me excited that there's a future in which I'll be like, I truly do not know how to operate a computer or a phone anymore. Like I'm not being difficult. I just really don't understand this, because I don't like, at this point, I feel like I'm still above average in my tech abilities, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be crazy. And you're like, I have no idea how to work any of this.
It's so fun
Yeah.
hearing you like just list a few of the ways that you would do things your way. My brain is just so not wired right now to consider going to a bookstore to look at maps to get
Hmm.
around, but that's awesome and
Oh, I
inspiring.
do that all the time at bookstores. Like I had to do this paper mache project recently, and you can look up just how to do paper mache, and it's like whatever, water and glue. But I just didn't remember exactly how to do it. And so I went to this bookstore and I was like, are there books about paper mache here? And they were like, I don't know. You can look in the kids craft section. So I went to the kids craft section. There was this one book that was like, it was this vintage, it's from like the 1980s or something, and it was like fun craft to do with kids. And then they had a little section on paper mache, and I got the info, and then I left.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I read one of your Substacks kind of taking you through a day and like all the different things you do to just like live. But I'm curious more about like your current practice. Like, how often are you going to a library, checking your email? What is your writing process look like right now?
Well, I've gone through different phases. I did have a period where I was just going like once every week or week and a half, and that was really fun because I could just forget that the internet existed. But then, ironically, in the lead up to my anti-tech book coming out this fall, it's been so intense, like just back and forth. And it's been some late night stuff where it's like I'll have to take my boyfriend's computer and like go out to the street where there's internet, and like answer an email at 9 p.m. because they're like, we need final approval and this is going to print tomorrow. And in those moments, I'll go out and I'll put like sunglasses on, because I'm like, if somebody sees me with a computer on the street, they're gonna think I'm a total liar. So yeah, it's just been like really really intense these past few months with edits for my book, and it hasn't been a level that I like or I'm comfortable with. But I think when my book comes out, as weird as it sounds, like there is a kind of privilege in having a big career moment, because then I'll have my publicists like checking emails, and things will just, like, I don't think I'll have to be on the computer. I think I can just delegate tasks because I'll sort of be the star of the show for whatever the month around my book, like my book launch. So I'm excited for that, but that's its own kind of demand, because then I'm just going to have to be at in-person events a lot. But I've really hated having to review like PDFs and Photoshop files and text things so much over the past few months. And I had to spend so much time looking at the screen when I was writing my book. So I wrote it longhand on paper, but then I had to go to the library to type it up and to do edits. And so that was just like days in the library, and you only get one computer session a day and you can't interrupt it. So you have to come in with like a bunch of protein bars and like protein shakes and just sit there. You're not allowed to eat in the library, so you have to do it really surreptitiously. And then you have to go to the bathroom, and you're like, great, while I'm in the bathroom, somebody's gonna like take over my computer and delete all my work, and it's so stressful.
Yeah, that sounds really stressful.
At a certain point, and this is really a privilege that I guess people are using AI for at this point, but would love to just have an assistant, like a college student who does all my computer tasks for me, so I never have to go online. But then I feel like that isn't actually activism, because it's not something a normal person could do. Like the point of activism is to pave the way for regular people
Right.
who aren't doing this as a job to be able to log off.
Yeah, like I feel like there's some like CEO or something that like never goes on their phone because they have an assistant that does everything.
Right. Plus, it's kind of like subjecting someone else to like double the tech.
Yeah, but I feel like these kids these days are just on it so much that
Yeah,
Yeah.
they might as well
if they're
get
getting
paid.
paid, they don't
Yeah.
care.
And it
Yeah.
is different. I do think it's different for work. Like, I'm not getting the same dopamine hit, like rush when I'm checking my work email than when I'm like doing things personally. So maybe
Yeah.
there's like separation there.
What would you say has been like the most surprisingly difficult thing and the most surprisingly easy thing about not having a smartphone or computer?
The difficult thing is hard because, well, for two reasons. One, because it's not as difficult as I thought it would be. And two, because you just get so used to it that you're like, that's just life. It has to be that way. And you forget how convenient it was before. I mean, one thing that does happen to me pretty regularly is that I will show up to a store or to a library and it's closed because I didn't know the opening times or I didn't know it was a holiday. So that's just like, that's pretty annoying if you like take the train half an hour to get someplace and then it is not open that day. So I've done that a bunch of times. That's annoying. So I guess just basic things like looking that up. But I don't really think it's like my life would be better on balance if I could look things up. But that does affect me. I think it's just like the joys of it so outweigh the difficulties that it's hard to even spend time thinking about the difficulties because it's like, okay, I had to walk 10 minutes out of my way for this thing, but then I got to feel calm and relaxed and happy the whole rest of the day.
Yeah. It's a pretty good payoff. I was curious. I read your essay about your television appearance, and you had said that you found the news cycle problematic, and I wanted to hear you talk a little bit more about that.
That's interesting. I don't remember saying that, but I definitely feel that way. But yeah, I definitely found the news cycle problematic because, well, for a lot of reasons. First of all, because it manufactures drama and intensity in order to get viewership. But second of all, because it's not actually necessary. Like most of the news we're getting is not anything we are going to act on. Certain people will if you work in politics or something like that. It is important, but most of us are really consuming it as entertainment, and it's fine if you want to consume it as entertainment, but there there comes with it a kind of superiority. Like I read the news and I'm more in touch and therefore I'm a better citizen than you are. I'm doing my duty more, or I care more about the world or about underprivileged people or about disasters overseas. But I think really that's a way to justify an addiction. And I don't think that those people are really contributing to the world as much as they think because they're spending so much of their time and their energy on their phones. So I think that really the way to contribute to the world is to be present in your life. And yes, to get the updates through the newspaper or whatever, but we used to have newspapers that would come once or twice a day. And then in between that, there's no update you can get unless it's a huge thing like 9/11 that people are going to tell you about, that you're going to hear about. But I hear about those big things. Like I hear about the invasions or bombings or wars or whatever because people will just mention it. And so I
Hmm.
do get those updates, but otherwise, I think the news cycle is problematic because it stops people from doing the work that they could do in their own lives and their own communities to improve the world. So if you have, let's say, a community that's pretty disconnected and there isn't a lot of like warmth and friendliness there, and people aren't working on like local infrastructure, but everyone there is following every update about a foreign war, meanwhile not helping fix the crisis overseas, but just like hearing about it and feeling involved and important, but not thinking about their local issues and the people around them. I think that makes for a pretty unbalanced and confused world. And I think that we then stop seeing our surroundings and stop caring about that. And we feel very powerless and we feel like we can't do anything to change our circumstances because these larger forces are at work. But if you tune that out, you can become really attuned to what's within your control. And actually, we have a lot of control. So I don't know, I have a lot of reasons, but one of
Yeah.
them really comes back to the tech thing, which is just that we are so focused on how powerful these tech companies are and how much they own and how much they've infiltrated our lives, that we don't actually understand that if we all logged off Instagram today and we all got rid of our smartphones, the tech companies would just die. But we don't think we have that power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those are all interesting points. Like, I definitely think it's good to be aware of what our government is doing, but it does not need to be like an every 10 minutes you're getting an update thing.
Yeah, it's the
Totally.
frequency. That's what I mean about the cycle is like, it's good to get an update. I totally respect people reading the newspaper once a day or once a week. I can't do that because I wouldn't be able to do my other, like I couldn't write my little anti-tech essay or my short story if I were freaking out about atrocities. But somebody
Mhm.
needs to know about the atrocities. Like we do need to know about it. So there's accountability. And so we can do things to stop them, change them, of course. So I don't think it's inherently problematic to read the news. I think that the phone alerts are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just such a major disconnect of getting all of this news all the time, but not being able to do anything about it. Like we're so connected, but we have so little power when we're consuming news
I
in
think
that way.
it really benefits the larger forces like the governments and the corporations for us to feel on a regular basis like we can't do anything. And because then it just gives us this kind of cynical, defeatist attitude towards the world.
Yeah. What other technology is in your home? Like, do you ever watch TV or movies? Do you have like screens at home or?
I have a CD player and a record player and a microwave. The introduction of my boyfriend into my life last year changed a lot of things because he has a computer. And so then we got a like an external DVD thing for his computer, and sometimes we'll go to the library and get DVDs. And
Mm.
but the thing is, like, we're both freelance artists. Like he's a musician, and I feel like what often happens is we will start a movie, and then it's just hard for us to find time to finish the movie because it's like we want to work on our stuff that night instead. So there are some movies that we really liked and we were getting into, and then we just had to return them to the library because we never finished them. So but I did worry when we first started watching them, like, oh, we're gonna become like other couples that just sit around and watch Netflix all day instead of talking or working on anything. So that was a big change for me. I'm still not really sure if it's a good thing, although I have really enjoyed the movies. They're a lot of fun. But we're watching like one movie a month maybe. So it's not horrible. But like I think if I had kids I wouldn't have a TV or any movies in the house at all. Like I think it would be like we go to the movie theater if you want to see a movie, but at home it's just you're present and not looking at a screen. But I listen to the radio a lot. I like the radio and I listen to audiobooks that I get from the library.
Do you have a way to consume audio media when you're out and about? Does your dumb phone have music or audiobook capabilities, or is that something strictly for home?
Mine doesn't. You can get a dumb phone that does, and you can also get a portable radio or a portable CD player or whatever. But I just don't believe in it. I think when you're out in the world, you should be thinking your own thoughts or being available to other people or being present. Like I think we just stuff our minds with content all day, and we never get any time to reflect.
Yeah, that's something I've been trying to be more conscious of because I noticed like I was always filling my ears with something and making it hard to have time to think.
Yeah.
You've alluded to your book coming out. Can you give like a little description of what the book is about specifically so that listeners know what to expect if they want to go check it out?
Yeah. So it's called very simply, You Don't Need a Smartphone, which I kind of wanted a more poetic title than that. But I think it is good because even if you don't pick it up or you don't buy it or you do buy it but you don't read it, like the message is still there. And I think the message
Yeah.
is just really important to consider. So it's called You Don't Need a Smartphone, and philosophical and practical. So emphasis is on the practical and really how you do this, how you get off your phone. But there's a lot of explanation and discussion of why and taking apart these little habits and routines that we have with our phones and how they affect us in ways that we haven't quite been able to understand because it's been 10-15 years since we got these smartphones, and so we're so used to having them and so used to reaching for them that we haven't really realized how they've changed the way we view the world. And it's about really reclaiming your mind and reclaiming your time from these devices and realizing that you're capable of a lot more than you realize. And so I discuss that in a historical way and a philosophical way, but I also discuss it in a practical way. Like, okay, you think that you need maps or you think you need dating apps or something, but you actually don't. And here's how I live without it. And so it's about replacing every function of your phone with some sort of object or routine. But it's also sometimes about letting those functions go and be like, okay, so you can't you can't record videos all the time unless you carry around a video camera. But so how is that going to change your life? Or if you can't listen to podcasts, how is that going to change your life? You can listen to podcasts at home, but if you're out and about, what does that look like? Is there a benefit to it? Does it just suck? And so walking people through every part of my life that's changed since I got rid of my phone and how much better it is, but also why it's important that we do this now and what will happen if we don't think about getting off of our phones now. If we just keep accepting every new change and every new development, every new intrusion, then what kind of world are we going to be in 5 or 10 years when none of us like this technology, but we've all consented to use it?
I can't wait to read it.
Same. I'm excited. You said it was coming this fall.
Yeah, it's coming out in October.
Cool. For people who are interested in transitioning to a smartphone less lifestyle, what would you say is step one?
Getting a dumb phone and at least using it when you leave the house. So you can keep your smartphone. You don't have to transfer everything. You don't have to change your whole life. But just when you go out, put your SIM card into your dumb phone. I know everyone says, oh, but I have an eSIM. So you're going to have to go to your cell phone provider and ask for a SIM card. It's slightly annoying, but it takes less time than wasting your life on social media and scrolling on your phone. And then you put it in the dumb phone and then you go out and you can still get your text. You can still coordinate with people. So I find a mistake people make is they're like, I'm just going to leave my smartphone at home and that's how I'll start. And then they get really frustrated because they can't talk to anyone and they get lost and they're confused and they can't tell their friends they're going to be late. So just get a dumb phone, start using it outside the house and see how that feels. And then it'll probably definitely feel really good. And then you might start to have the feeling of going home and like binging on media. And then you can be like, oh, well, actually, I can take this away and then always feel as good as I feel walking around with my dumb phone. So that I think is the way to start.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay, well, I know you have to go in a few minutes, but is there anything else you want to share with people about where they can find you or anything like that?
I have a newsletter. It's on the internet, but I am eventually going to have a physical newsletter, a mailing list. You can send me your address if you want to be on the mailing list. And then, and then my book. So those are my projects.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, August.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, wow. I truly do feel so inspired. I was doing a bit of research into the movement and I was digging into the meaning of the word Luddite.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I've only ever heard that used in a derogatory sense, but it's kind of an empowering noun.
Yeah.
It's like this social movement of people who are anti harmful tech, like anti the evolution of technology in a way that's harmful to people. And I'm really on board with that. And I feel like in this new wave of anti-AI sentiment and concern about data centers and just all the ways that AI is ruining the world, I feel like a Luddite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's an interesting specification or qualification that it's anti-harmful tech, because it's obviously they're not protesting advances in medical technology that are saving
Totally,
people's
but
lives.
I think that Luddite has been used colloquially to refer to people like that, people who are just not tech savvy or
right
against evolution or progress in general, but that's not.
Yeah.
That's big tech.
I feel like August's suggestion for how to start was really appealing with the dumb phone for going out.
Should we do it?
I kind of want to.
I think we should both do it.
I think the navigation would be really hard for me.
Yeah, I feel like I can do my things Like
Mm-hmm.
I can go to work, I can visit my friend's house. Like I know where my friends live, I know where my work is, but other stuff seems hard. Specifically public transit. But I like the
Yeah.
idea of being able to get like they used to have like paper
Like
maps on
Metro
the
maps.
bus.
I do think there's other benefits for sure, like other than time saved. Like I would love to just be more present when I'm out of the house and not checking my phone when I'm with my friends or I'm like waiting in line for something.
Yeah, I want to do it. I'm sure that if you start doing dumb phone out of the house, you also just have less of a desire to scroll when you get
Yeah.
back home.
In my like very tiny steps of trying to be on harmful tech less, I've been doing no social media on Fridays and Saturdays. And
Wow.
I feel like by the time I get to Friday, like I'm like really excited for it. Like it's kind of a relief, but it is like not long enough to get rid of the addiction for sure. Like I'm pretty excited to check stuff on Sunday.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like there's some balance there because when I go on the long enough camping trip, I feel no desire to open up Instagram when I get back. But if I just take a few hours or a day off, yeah, I like want to see what's going on.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
I was thinking through what are the things in my brain that are making me not want to get off my phone. And one is like the social aspect that we discussed with August. And I do think that's made up in my head.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is. I feel like it is also really dependent on what your like social scene looks like. And then also like how much you like want to keep up with people that don't live in your city.
Yeah, at first I felt like keeping up with people long distance would be hard, but wouldn't it be like so much more meaningful to just have a phone call once a month instead of like kind of texting this person like all the
Right.
time?
The first person whose Substack I read, Katie, who is less extreme than August, she will use like iMessage and things like that on her computer, like her personal computer, but it's just more of a thing where you like check it once a day. And then that's kind of fun too, especially
Yeah.
like thinking about how we used to communicate. I remember when you lived in California for a couple of years, like when we were in middle school, we would send emails back and forth. And it wasn't like we were texting constantly throughout the day, but it
Yeah.
was like so fun to, check once a day or every other day and have a long email and get to like draft like a response
So
back.
fun. Like talk about addiction and dopamine. I remember being on a family cruise to Alaska and being like so excited to get to a computer where I could check my email and like G chat my friends like once every few days. Um
Yeah.
and like opening my phone never feels that good. The other like big fear I have is thinking about like how being off social media would distance me from like the culture
Mm-hmm.
and what's going
Totally.
on. But when I start thinking about what that would actually look like practically, like at first I was like, well, how would I like stay up to date with like fashion? But it's kind of silly because that's like the way that you engage with fashion is by looking at people around you in the world. And then like
Right.
movies, you can still just like, go see movies. Like you don't need social media to tell you about that. There's so much print media still like accessible or like online media. Like you could still go and read articles online if you had a computer.
When Donna asked me like what the hardest part would be for me, like giving up my smartphone, I was like keeping up with discourse, but I was saying it kind of jokingly, but it is like
Well, it's true, but then
genuinely
like
kind of, yeah.
and so the only part of discourse that I feel like you would actually really lose out on would be like truly internet discourse. And
Which
then
is
it's
just
like,
not real.
right, like do
Or
I
it
even
can,
want that? Like
I mean, it definitely can be fun. I do definitely see August's points about moderation just not really working, but I do think it's a person to person thing, and I do think there is a case for moderation and not going full Luddite. And like I definitely do find value in aspects of social media or just like being online.
Yeah, that's your addiction talking, sweetie.
Well, sure.
No,
but...
I'm kidding. I do think it's person to person. But I do think it's an interesting, like, the idea that, like, restricting can feel harder than just, like, that is interesting to me and something I never really considered before.
Yeah. I feel like we've seen the whole progression basically from moderation to not moderation, and like an internet that allows you to be moderate. Because I feel like even through like our college years, I think we were like sending Snapchats throughout the day, which is kind of social media, but feels a little different than scrolling. But then looking at like a feed like Instagram, I was still like maybe only doing that like a few minutes a day. And then like
in
once a day
college?
in college, like I was doing it like once a day, I feel like at the end of the day. And then
I was
like
not.
I feel like the feed would be over, like because it would still have an end. They didn't have the endless algorithm now. So you would get to the end and I'd be like, okay.
That is not my recollection of college, to be honest. I remember like being on my phone all the time in lectures and scrolling on social media on my laptop and on my phone. So maybe my addiction just goes deeper.
But like you remember a time, like, okay, then take high school, for example. Like, do you feel like you were endlessly scrolling then?
Later in high school, yes. I feel like I've basically been endlessly scrolling for as long as it's been available to me. I remember getting my first phone in early high school and feeling addicted to the act of texting.
Yes, definitely texting. Remember, it would be like, hey, and then select like 10 people to send it to.
And like, what a rush. I think I just have a super addictive personality when it comes to technology in specific, and always have. Like, I think I've always used tech in an unhealthy way.
Yeah, so maybe for you it would need to be complete shut out.
Maybe because like even before, like I feel like I would stay up really late on like GChat or AIM, like
yeah,
or like Omegle. No one to talk to. I'll go find someone I don't know to talk to. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love a screen.
You're so social too, so you were just like reaching for like any connection when there wasn't people around.
Yeah.
But it's totally person to person, because I know people that have smartphones but don't scroll at all and aren't on social media.
Yeah, Drew is kind of like that. Like he basically just uses social media to watch jokes, which is like what I want. And I'm always like, yeah, like I just like funny. But then like when I look at my reels and the way that my algorithm is responding to the content I consume, it's so much not funny shit. And the proof is in the pudding. Like I am watching food recipes. I am watching like what I wear in a day. I am watching people just do nothing all day. Like I want it all. I want all the content.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you guys still listen to us if we didn't know the internet discourse? I don't know.
I don't feel like I was super addicted in college. I feel like it really, really shifted during COVID. And also with the introduction of short form video. Like I feel like that changed everything and just completely shot my attention span.
Yeah, mine is so cooked.
Did you come across the Luddite teens?
I did. So I watched some videos about that. I was having trouble, honestly, telling how big of a movement it is, or whether it's just something that like traditional news media really locked onto as like a good story. Because I saw like a few different like KRON, like Tonight at 9, Luddite teens, and it's like this group of teens in New York. But it's hard for me to tell because also like maybe there's not that much information about it online because they are not online. But I thought it was a cool idea, and I'm impressed with the teens. What did you see about the Luddite teens?
I read the articles in the New York Times and I went to their website, which is really minimal, but it lists like all of the chapters. So you could see that it's spread around the country. Like there were 32 cities, I think, and a few international cities too. But yeah, it is hard to tell. Like, is it just like 3 people meeting up at Western Washington University, or is it like a strong movement? But I mean, August said as well that it's mostly younger people that are really involved. I feel like there are people that are just living like this, not as a form of activism, just because they're older and never adopted the technology.
Right. And that's like the easiest thing. Like that's like I've been a vegetarian my whole life. I've never tasted meat.
Right. It's funny how now it's so radical, like the act of having like a flip phone, when it was not that long ago. When we were in middle school, that was like the image of like a shallow, like just texting obsessed girl, like a Paris Hilton, like texting and like snapping her phone shut was like, oh, like you don't read books.
Maybe I can reprogram my brain to want that. Like that feels nice to snap a phone shut.
I do want that.
I want that. Yeah.
Have you seen this light phone?
Yeah, I've been doing some dumb phone research.
The light phone, it's kind of funny because it feels like they're just each version they're adding more and more features. Like they're basically like rebuilding like a smartphone from scratch. So like people that aren't familiar, the light phone is like a super basic phone that started with, it's like has a touch screen, or I don't know what the technology is called exactly. Like it's not glossy. it's matte.
Like a Kindle, but it's
yeah, like a Kindle.
And it is grayscale.
Like the first one was just like calling, and you could only have limited contacts. And then they added like texting and alarms and calendars, and I don't even know all of the features the new one has. Like I know they have a camera, navigation maybe.
Some have navigation, some have music. I think that I would be more interested in getting just like a diversity of devices. And maybe that's goofy, but there are things that I'm not willing to give up. Like I want to be able to keep taking photos, but having a digital camera seems nice. I want to be able to keep listening to music when I'm out and about. I like the idea of having my ears empty, but I think that's not realistic for my lifestyle and the fact that I'm like away from the house a lot. So I would love to have like an iPod Nano or like a different device that allows me to use like Spotify or whatever, although all those streaming services are evil. So I feel like I just want a dumb phone that is just like text, call, alarm.
On the subreddit r/dumb phones, people post their everyday carries, which are really fun. And it's like some people will have an iPod, like everyone has like a notebook, so like all the things you need to basically replace the key functions of your smartphone. But in terms of what dumb phone I would want, I feel like the flip phone is like the cuntiest and the most fun.
Yeah, I agree.
But then
I will say the light phone is not cunty. It's like kind of a grim aesthetic.
I know some people were switching to the light phone because they got tired of T9 texting. But there's also like, there were all those old slide phones with the full keyboards. Which that's what I went into college with.
Yeah,
like,
me
a little
too.
less cunty, but it's cuntier than the light phone.
It is. Let's like concoct, like imagine like the worst scenario where you would really need a phone, and then let's see if we can get around to it.
Honestly, like anything really bad that could happen could also just happen if your phone was dead.
True. And my phone is dead all the time. I guess like the worst scenario is like you're in like a area and something really crazy has happened and everyone is freaking out about it, but the nature of the thing is such that they won't tell you what it is. Like it's
pluribus.
It's pluribus. You're in like a subway station and pluribus just happened, except part of pluribus is that you have to be on social media for it.
I feel like what I saw people talk about a lot, which is like the reason that they would still carry around their smartphone or something, was like ride sharing apps. Like if people are really dependent on those, And like a lot of places are like only allow you to get in with a digital ticket or like your phone as a ticket for something, which is super annoying.
That is really annoying. I do feel like if I got a dumb phone, suddenly like I would need a printer, which is I haven't needed a printer in a long time. No, I'm really like I'm a weenie coward, so I'm probably not going to do it. But I really want. I kind of want to get a dumb phone today.
Me too. We don't even have to do it like every day. Like we could just on days when. Oh, okay. I shouldn't say that.
No. I want to
because that's what I feel like would prevent me from doing it. But knowing you do still have your smartphone you could switch to, like if I know I'm having a day where I'm going to be in an unfamiliar area, then I can take my smartphone. But if I'm just like going to the grocery store, like I don't need that.
Right. No, I like it. Let's do it.
Okay.
I feel like I have nothing else to say. Like I'm like, let's do it. And then that's it. I'm ready. I want to like start finding new music by going to music stores. I want to go see movies outside. I want to know how to drive around the city that I live in without having to look at my phone.
I love the idea of going to the library for DVDs. Or like renting them from a video store.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen for me. I can't really imagine like getting a DVD player right now, but
no. I mean, one step at a time. We're not getting our computers yet.
Yeah. No, we should get dumb phones. Let's find a cool flip phone and each get it.
Okay.
And then so it's our scene.
Not currently, but
yeah, I guess it's like the opposite of my scene currently, but
I definitely do still feel like I'm in a middle ground in terms of my philosophy. Like online discourse, for better or for worse, is something that brings me joy. And like the fact that we have the internet and inside jokes that are shared like across people that I don't know, like I love that and I find it really fun. So I don't think I see myself like completely disconnecting ever, but I am very interested in the idea of having a dumb phone that I use out of the house like a lot of days.
Yeah, I agree. Like I do feel like so much of my humor comes from the internet.
Yeah.
But I think there's a middle ground. Like when I think about like my memories as I reflect on the year each year, I just like never remember internet things really. I remember like internet phenomenon, but not like online interactions that I had. And so that's like really what I want to pare down.
Yeah. Like the meaningless interactions and just like being rage baited every day.
Yeah, and I don't know. I genuinely can't even provide an example of the dumb shit I'm watching on Reels because it's so nothing. Like it's so...
Yeah, just like losing brain cells.
It's like someone making... like pouring cereal into like plastic containers. That's
like restock.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Remember to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Email us at notmyscenepod@gmail.com.
Subscribe on Spotify, Apple, rate us, and text our link to all your friends and internet friends.
Oh, and we also have just joined the Snap Map community, so follow our locations there. I loved when I was like, what technology do you have? And Autumn was like, I have a microwave.
I'm like, I would end up being desperate and like staring at the time on the microwave.
Totally. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya. Bye.